Today, it's not an answer to a question. I'm going to talk about a past life story that I saw many years ago while I was giving a session. I was having a conversation with a friend about it this morning, and then I had a feeling to record it. Now, I'm going to mention this past life story simply so we can get the bigger picture, so it will be easier for us to see at least some of the bigger picture and to see how life on earth really is a game. This person calls me for a session. Many years ago, I was still living in California. She called me for a session, and as soon as I start talking, or as soon as I started connecting with her higher self, before she asked any questions, I said to her, they're showing me something from a past life, so I'm going to mention it so I can get it out of the way, and then we can go to the questions. And I continue talking, saying, they're showing me that in a past life, you were a Swiss banker and you were assisting the Nazis to hide or to put stolen gold from the Jews into Swiss banks, to launder it, in other words, to legalize it. I don't know what word to use. And she went all quiet. She did not say a word for a few seconds, quite a few seconds. And I thought she felt bad because we have been told that there is good and bad. So to make her feel better, I say to her, look, life on earth is a game. We have all played all the roles. There is no good or bad, so don't worry too much about what you did. And then she starts talking. And she says, Eric, that is not my problem at the moment. The reason I am speechless is because in this life I am a lawyer, I am Jewish, and I have devoted my career into finding the Jewish stolen money that is in Swiss banks and getting them to give it back to family members. So, the moral of this story is we play all the roles. We will play one role in one life and then come back in the next life and play the opposite role. And this way we learn everything from a situation. What we call good and bad. There is no good or bad, but in our language, the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly, the right and the wrong. And I've noticed with some people, I have not had many of these cases, but I have noticed with some people that are really against a certain behavior of a certain nationality is mostly because they belonged to this nationality in a previous life. And they started this behavior. And now, in the next life, they are a victim of this behavior that they had started. I remember another story. It was this woman in Greece. She came for a session and she said, among other things, I'm only going to mention one question. She said, I have a problem with the Turkish people. I hate them. Hate them, hate them, hate them. But it's affecting me. especially when I listen to other Greeks that have been to Turkey and just loved it. And they come back mentioning how friendly the Turkish people are to Greeks. I go crazy with this. So I said, okay, we will ask your soul. So she lies down and we ask her soul to take us to the source of this hatred she has for the Turkish people. Before I continue, I have no problem with hatred whatsoever. I have never seen it as a problem. Now, so we ask for the source of this hatred. For one moment she's shocked. She's not talking to me. She's not telling me what's going on, what she's seeing. The second moment she starts to cry. And she describes the story that she's seeing, that she was a man, a Turkish man, that was showing her the time of around, I think it was 1922, 1923, when the Greeks were exiled from what is now from what is now Turkey, from Izmir, in particular in her case. She was a man. The uprising had started against the foreigners, especially the Greeks and the Armenians. She killed a few Greeks, being a man. And then she even got on a ship where Greeks had gotten onto to escape and started killing there too, until 2 or 3 Greeks then killed him. And that's how he died. And the next life, this guy comes back as a Greek woman. And now she is obsessed with hating the Turks. So, is it the Turks she was hating? Or was she hating herself for what she had done, thinking it was bad? So then we needed to go a little further back and find out what was it that started the hatred that she had for the Greeks at that particular time of history, at that particular time of her life, his life. And what they showed her was, a few years before this, the Greek army had gone to Izmir, took over parts of Izmir, if not all of it. I cannot remember exactly what she had said, and I'm not familiar with the history. And either 2 or 3 of the soldiers from the Greek army raped his wife. And this is where his hatred for the Greeks began. You see, when we do what we call mean things to other people, we are simply trying to transfer our pain over to someone else. Pain is not something most of us can handle. So some of us switch off completely, try and forget what happened. And others try to transfer it onto someone else. Anyone else would do. This is the biggest reason we are mean. So, next time you find yourself hating the Americans for what they are doing, hating the Germans, hating the British, hating the Israelis, hating the Arabs, keep in mind that you have also lived in those nationalities. You have also played a role in what is happening today in the world, or what has always happened in the world. So we need to find a way to deal with our pain and to be able to release our pain without passing it on to others. Sometimes it might be past life pain. Not sometimes, I think many times we carry pain from the past. Just because it's a past life does not mean it's not us. It's us in a different body, but it's still us. And because Earth is a vibrational game, let's say, for the sake of simplicity, it's vibration 1 to 10. And let's say we leave this Earth in a past life. We left when we were in vibration number 4. When we come back to Earth, we have to come back in vibration number 4 again. We cannot come back in, let's say, vibration 5 or 6 or 7, or 1 or 2 or 3. We have to come back at the same vibration we were when we left. So as things happen in our lives, there are memory triggers, and memory of what had happened comes back. So this pain, this feeling of this pain, or this necessity to alleviate ourselves from this pain comes back. And one of the easiest ways to do it is to pass it on. This is why we are so mean. I'm going to bring an example here. I'm going to have a lot of people getting angry, but I'm going to bring an example. What Israel is doing to the Palestinians, and has been doing for 70 years now. It's not because the Israelis are mean, but as a whole, they have not dealt with the pain of what has happened to them yet. Once they deal with it, then everything will change. We go about our world situation backwards. We say, no, this is wrong, you cannot do this, and if you continue doing it, I will bomb you, I will kill you. All this does is create more karma for the next generation, which is going to be us, of course. We are the next generation as well. And then we'll have more problems to deal with. We need to start finding ways, first as individuals, and then as cultures, to deal with our pain, to accept our pain without judging, to say, yes, it happened, and I want to cry, and I want to be angry, and I want to call people names. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Don't listen to the politically correct language police. Don't listen to them. Get angry. Because anger is another form, not the only form, but it is another form of healing. And then we can slowly stop being mean to one another, and mostly to ourselves. And then next time we come to Earth, we will come into a much better world. I will leave it at this.